StadiumDB.com presents Skybet League Two Stadiums Season 2024-2025. Hi, we're almost certain that Sunday fans don't know a minimum of half the clubs and a large majority of the stadiums in League Two. However, thanks to our overview, you will get to know them all, and a few of them are certainly beyond League Two level. The overview is based on capacity. We'll start with the smallest stadium and conclude the video with the one that is able to host more than 30,000 fans. Let's begin with the stadium in the London suburbs. 24th place, Haynes Lane, capacity 5,000, Bromley FC. One of the two smallest stadiums in our overview, Bromley FC moved to Haynes Lane in 1938 from the previous venue, also on the same road. The club from the London metropolitan area is open 7 days a week to the public. The current capacity of the stadium is 5,000, with 1,300 seats and 2,500 covered seats. 23rd place, Exercise Stadium, capacity 5,000, Harrogate Town AFC. The Exercise Stadium has been home to Harrogate Town AFC since the club's inception. Following promotion to the EFL in August 2020, a new main stand was built with nearly 1,000 seats, increasing the stadium's capacity to 5,000. In 2022, it was announced that £3.5 million would be invested in the installation of a new seating stand, increasing seating capacity to over 2,000. 22nd place, Wham Stadium, capacity 5,057. Accrington Stanley. George Michael did not sing here, and it was named after the club's sponsor. In 2007, during the second redevelopment, it got a roof, and after promotion to the 4th division, chairs were installed in the first few rows to meet the requirements. To the north stands the last stand with just 3 rows. 21st place, the Peninsula Stadium, capacity 5,108, Salford City. The stadium lies about 4 km north of Manchester city centre. Moor Lane takes its historic name from the street where Salford City FC's history began in 1940. The stadium's main stand is located on the south side, which is rare in England, its structure being fully reinforced concrete instead of the more traditional steel. 20th place, Highbury Stadium, capacity 5,137, Fleetwood Town. The first match was played here in early September 1939, as the inauguration of the Highbury Avenue Stadium coincided with the outbreak of the Second World War. The next meeting was not held until a few years later. In the first decades of its existence, it hosted not only football matches, but also speedway matches, hence until 2008, the two stands were significantly separated from the pitch. They were divided by the remains of the track. 19th place, Mazuma Mobile Stadium, capacity 6,476, Morecambe. The stadium opened in 2010, replacing the old stadium, which had been Morecambe's home since 1921. In the northeast corner of the stadium is the Tyson Fury Foundation, which is split over 2 floors. In European games, the stadium is known as Morecambe Stadium due to advertising rules. 18th place, Soul Eagle Stadium, capacity 6,500, Barrow AFC. As well as being a football ground, it has also been used for speedway. The venue used to have several recreational facilities, including 4 squash courts, which have now been demolished. Despite a current capacity of just over 6,000, some 16,874 people filled the stadium in 1954 when Barrow played against Swansea Town in the FA Cup 3rd round. 17th place, Completely-Suzuki Stadium, capacity 7,200, Cheltenham Town. The stadium on the site of the Berkeley Hand Farm was built by Cheltenham Original Brewery in 1927 and has been the home of Cheltenham Town since 1932. The stadium consists of 4 stands: Hazelwood Stand, Colin Farmer Stand, Optimizing IT Stand, and the main stand, Auto Village Stand. The stadium has had 6 different names, and the current one has been used since 2022. 16th place, Rodney Parade, capacity 7,850, Newport County. Rodney Parade is a stadium in the city of Newport, South Wales. The stadium is also home to Dragons RFC, one of the 4 Welsh rugby teams. It is the third oldest sporting venue in the Football League after Racecourse Ground and Deepdale. Rodney Parade has 2 covered stands, Compete West and Beasley East. 15th place, Cherry Red Records Stadium, capacity 9,300, AFC Wimbledon. More than a decade after its creation, fan-managed AFC Wimbledon was already in a position to undertake a partnership with a developer. Preparations continued until planning permission was granted, and construction did not begin until spring 2019, with the arena inaugurated in November 2020. 14th place, Blundell Park, capacity 9,546, Grimsby Town. It's been around since 1898, and while it obviously doesn't have much in common with that stadium, there's still plenty of history there today. In the 1980s, the capacity was 27,000. The difference to the present day comes mainly from the removal of standing places, but also from the removal of the temporary stands the club used before relegation to the 5th Division. 13th place, Mornflake Stadium, capacity 10,101, Crewe, Alexandra. Among supporters, the stadium is known as Gresty Road due to the tradition of nicknaming it after the address. However, officially today the venue is known as Mornflake Stadium by a breakfast cereal sponsor. The most interesting thing about the stadium is its shape. The total capacity slightly exceeds 10,000 seats. Meanwhile, almost 7,000 spectators of that number sit in one stand. We're halfway through, so it's the perfect time to ask you to like the video, share the material and subscribe. And now it's time to reveal the bigger stadiums. 12th place, JobServe Community Stadium, capacity 10,105, Colchester United. Colchester Community Stadium. It is the home of Colchester United Football Club. It was opened in August 2008. The stadium is the largest venue in Essex and regularly hosts conferences, shows and events, including outdoor concerts, with a capacity of 20,000. 11th place, Wham's Priestfield Stadium, capacity 10,500, Gillingham. It is not entirely clear whether it is the stadium that is named after the street or the street after the stadium. From 1997 to 2004, one grandstand at a time, the entire venue was transformed. However, the transformation stopped just before the finish and a temporary stand was erected behind one of the gates. The reason was the decision to move to a new facility, but to this day, there is no successor. 10th place, SMH Group Stadium, capacity 10,504, Chesterfield. SMH Group Stadium has been home to the football club since 2010, but is also a major venue for business or pleasure occasions. The stadium hosted matches for the England under-19 and under-21 national teams in 2011 and Sir Elton John in 2012. During this short history, the stadium has had 4 different names. 9th place, Poundland Bescot Stadium, capacity 11,300, Walsall. The venue has 2 large meeting and banqueting rooms and 3 bars. In its early days, it was the norm for sheep to graze on the pitch during the week, and outside of matches it was, for example, furs. It's known for its dubious beauty, and the most frequently viewed part of it is adjustment to the M6 motorway, and is profusely peppered with advertisements, which by the way are not always wanted. Until the 1980s, the venue held just over 20,000 people. 8th place, Vale Park, capacity 15,036, Port Vale. According to the original plans, the stadium was to hold around 80,000 spectators and provide parking for 1,000 of them. However, the club was unable to carry out such ambitious plans, and some stadium had to be built. The facility was built in 1950 in a former brickworks. adjacent to the park where the club began its history. Construction took a long 5 years with room to spare, and the result was a facility for 40,000 spectators. 7th place, Eco Power Stadium, capacity 15,231, Doncaster Rovers. The stadium opened back in 2006 and 4 years later won the Stadium Business Awards for the best spectator experience in Europe. The 4 simple single-tier and compact stands hold 15,231 people, half the capacity of the city's previous football stadium, Bellevue. Since 2007, it has been used by both footballers, rugby players and a women's football club. 6th place, Nigel Eadie County Ground, capacity 15,728, Swindon Town. Swindon Town FC moved into the county ground in 1893, but at the time it was a cricket stadium with the second football stadium not being built until 1896. It underwent its first modernization in 1932. During World War II, it served as a barracks for British soldiers. To this day, the county ground is not only the first, but also the only stadium to have a Rolex clock running. 5th place, Prenton Park, capacity 16,500, Tranmere Rovers. Prenton Park is a football stadium in Birkenhead. The stadium has undergone several redevelopments, the most recent being in 1995 in response to the requirement of fully seated facilities. The largest ever attendance was 24,424 at an FA Cup match between Tranmere and Stoke City in 1972. The inauguration of the stadium dates back to 1912. 4th place, Bronson Park, capacity 17,949, Carlisle United. The stadium was opened in 1909. Bronson Park is the largest football stadium in England and still has the traditional terraces. At one point, the capacity of the stadium was 27,500, but this was first reduced in the 1980s and then reduced in 2013 to 17,001 for the upcoming season. The largest attendance at the stadium was an FA Cup match against Liverpool in 1989, when 18,556 were in the stands. 3rd place, Meadow Lane, capacity 19,841, Notts County. The creation of Meadow Lane was the result of Notts County's plight in the early 20th century. The club played its matches across the River Trent, but the cricket team with whom it shared a stadium made it very difficult to play football matches. The stadium continued to deteriorate for a long time, and this condition would probably have extended for another decade had it not been for the Hillsborough and Bradford disasters. Exorbitant safety requirements forced an almost complete rebuild. 3 of the 4 stands disappeared and were replaced by new ones. 2nd place, University of Bradford Stadium, capacity 24,840, Bradford City. Built in 1886, it was the home of Manningham Rugby Football Club until 1903, when they changed the rugby to football and became Bradford City. The stadium went through several changes until a fatal fire on the 11th of May 1985 killed 56 fans and injured at least 265. The stadium underwent a £2.6 million redevelopment and reopened in December 1986. The record attendance of 39,146 was set in 1911 in an FA Cup match against Burnley, making it the oldest surviving Football League stadium attendance record in the country. 1st place, Stadium MK, capacity 30,530, Milton Keynes Dons. By far the largest in the entire list, the official name has changed a couple of times, always being a variation of Stadium MK with colon, italics, bold. Unofficially, the venue is known as Denby Stadium. It was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II in November 2007 The stands are able to accommodate around 32,000 spectators, but until 2013, seats were only installed on the lower level due to low demand for tickets. Ultimately, the facility can hold up to 45,000 spectators, as space has been left under the roof for another level of seating. And that's the end of our overview of the 4th League in England. Which stadiums have impressed you the most? Write in the comments. And that's it for today, so we're already saying goodbye and until the next material.